Alright, welcome back everybody. We're gonna pick up right where we left off. So something I kind of alluded to in the last video was pushing things toward an anime feel, which I have, in my opinion, is the biggest problem with the Final Fantasy series and a lot of things Square has decided to do recently.
Everything
years,
in order?
or hell, even the past 20
Right
years.
behind you.
To varying degrees. There's a guy I used to watch online, and I say used to only because he hasn't posted a video in over 6 months. But at least that was worth watching. Named the Spoonie, or the Spoonie one on the SpoonieExperiment.com. He did a review of a bunch of different Final Fantasy games, in particular Final Fantasy VIII. And during Final Fantasy VIII, he had one clip where he went back and talked about Final Fantasy VII for a very specific reason. And I kind of feel like he hit the nail on the head. Final Fantasy VII was the game that introduced video games to anime fans. A lot of the characters were super deformed anime characters, essentially. And whereas I love Final Fantasy VII, it's my favorite Final Fantasy, my favorite game of all time. But I do kind of feel like he's right. Final Fantasy VII truly did seem to really introduce anime fans, or video games, into the anime fandom. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But they put anime fans on Square Enix's radar. Or Squaresoft at the time.
Are we there yet?
Which sucks, because Square realized a lot of their fan base is anime fans. So they tried to cater to the anime, dichotomy? The appropriate use of that word? Probably, maybe, hell, I don't know. They try to cater to anime fans, which isn't necessarily a bad thing if done properly. I enjoy anime. But they pick the anime tropes that tend to be annoying. Let's take Final Fantasy 13. Final Fantasy 13 is my least favorite game of all time. I despise that game. I really do. The main characters are all annoying. The plot in that game really doesn't make much sense. The main characters just repeat themselves a million times, which is a huge anime trope, especially in shonen anime. Naruto. And the main, like I said, main characters are really whiny and annoying. Some of them are completely useless.
Nothing like nature in the middle of nowhere.
The main two characters of that game. I lost my train of thought. That's not good. I'm gonna have to backtrack a bit. But 7 really introduced Square, showed Square how much the anime fandom had picked up as a fan base for Final Fantasy series. And you still have the Final Fantasy gamers like myself and ones who played the first and second one, started out on the first and second one and just kept playing after that. They still had those people, but a lot of their fan base and the ones that they make the most money off of end up being anime fans. And it shows in a lot of things that Square does. Take the Kingdom Hearts series. The first Kingdom Hearts was an interesting mix between strategy and real-time combat. And admittedly, the first Kingdom Hearts had problems with its combat. It's actually a problem I have with the combat on this game, where I think I talked about it, where you're just constantly being attacked while you're from enemies, and sometimes you end up not being able to do anything because there's so many enemies around you.
Ooh, gets really lively at night.
It does. All I see is you ramming into my chocobo. I really should be doing something, but it's easier to talk when I'm not focusing on something. But the biggest switch for me is when you think of the switch from the first Kingdom Hearts to the second Kingdom Hearts. And switching between the two, they did do a lot of things right when they made the second game. The graphics were better, the animations were a lot like I go back and play the original, like the PS2 version of the first game, and then play the second game and look at the facial animations. Look at how much they improved. It is ridiculous how much they improved. On the PS2, but like there's a lot of good things they did. Some of the game mechanics they did a lot better with. How smooth a lot of it was a lot better. There were a lot of improvements, but there were some things that irritated me. The combat system, again, was, I think I talked about this maybe, where you can just basically hold the X, or like tap the X button throughout the entire game and win. Like, there wasn't as much strategy to it.
Indeed.
The magic system was broken, but it was semi-broken on the first game, so meh. Like, you can't really win on that one. I don't really care for the magic system in this game. I always forget about it. But the main characters. Another anime trope, shonen anime in particular, with anime like Naruto. And I don't hate Naruto, I actually like Naruto. And the reason I get so mad about Naruto is because there are so many terrible things about it. The whiny androgynous emo character that all the fangirls are like, oh my god, I ship him. I just know, like Sasuke no. Like, main character here has slight duck butt hair, which makes me, all I can think is Sasuke. He doesn't really seem to have the same personality as Sasuke, but meh. I do like the fact that they tried to explain away why all the main characters are wearing black is because that's the armor of the guard or whatever it was. I thought that was funny. I was like, oh look, they're doing that, but you can immediately change clothes into some bright clothing. But this clothing looks so much better than any of that bright clothing. I don't get it.
Rather sultry. Yeah.
Sultry? That's a strange choice of words. Like Kingdom Hearts 2, Riku, the character of Riku, all the fangirls were like, oh my god, Riku, I ship him. And his character in the first game, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it definitely wasn't bad. There's actually a lot of things to admire about it. Some of it was done really well. I'm just gonna run around the countryside. And in the second game, he just kind of becomes
everything in order.
Yep.
Like overly
Right
evil. Like
you.
I understand to varying degrees his reasoning for like embracing the darkness and using it to his own advantage and whatnot. But toward the end, he's just kind of emo, like overly. All right, whatever your name is, come on. It's been so long since I played. Can't remember the names. Ignis, Prompto, Noctis, and Gladio. All right. Your feet hurt? You're riding a chocobo. But yeah, he just becomes so emo, just out of nowhere. And you're like, well, this could have been a really interesting deep character, but he falls into the range of characters like Sasuke and any Twilight character, and like, I'm sorry, people, but those aren't necessarily really good characters. You want to know a good character? I'm going from anime. Is Bash the Stampede from Trigun, who is probably my favorite character in all of anime. Because you have people like Sasuke, you have characters like Riku. You have characters to some varying degree like Squall from Final Fantasy VIII. And even what Square Enix did to Cloud when they put him in Kingdom Hearts, where they made him this really overly, oh, I'm so troubled character, and I'm going to be all moody and brooding, and so all the fangirls can be like, oh my god, he's so hot in the suit. No, just no. Vash the Stampede wears his, where a character like Sasuke wears all his troubles like on the outside. He is defined by his troubles.
It is
Like,
about that time.
the way he interacts with people is defined by his, like, all the problems he's had. And he wears all of his problems on the outside. He whines, he lets it control him, and he doesn't really seem to become a good person because of it, or really grow as a character, even bad or good, because of it. He's just stuck in this whiny atmosphere. I don't know. I get distracted by the giant. Vash the Stampede, on the other hand, has this really depressing backstory
Thanks.
and all of this crap he had to go through. But every day he wakes up, he puts a smile on his face, and he doesn't let all these bad things that happen to him control how he interacts with people. He spends all of his time, he has all this power and all these abilities that he could use for so many different things, but he doesn't go on some misguided rush for vengeance against knives. He gets up every day with a smile, and like, if you haven't watched Trigun, like, glowing endorsement, go watch it. You will not regret it. He is one of the most heartwarming and lovable characters, and you really feel for him by the time you're finished with those 24 episodes. Well, looks like I'm just about out of video time, so
It's no big deal.
I'll talk to you guys next time. If you liked what I talked about, or if you have anything to say about the Final Fantasy series, or this game in particular,
Don't worry.
feel free to write in the comments, subscribe.
Don't forget.
Talk to you guys later.